Hello, welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm going to see if I can fix the cracks and the damage at the front of the Celica. Right, first of all I'm just going to assess the actual damage, and there is quite a lot of it's quite significant. Main area here is this massive chunk taken out of it. This is where the ramp actually hits at the MOT station. This is what causes all the damage, and it's cracked all the way along here. So I think what I'm going to do first is grind out these cracks as best I can. Unfortunately the whole spec is going to have to be repainted. Yeah, it's quite bad there. The actual fiberglass itself is still pretty intact except for that little area over there, so I think I could probably get away with grinding all this bits off and then give it a skimmer fibre filler and then some normal filler. I think I might even try and improve this line here, the shape through here, with a little bit of fibre filler. I think I'd like to have that a little bit more refined. I think same on that side as well, and same with these lines here and through the side as well. There's a line through there, so I'll probably do that as well. So what I'm going to do, I think, is get my drill with a little grinding disc on it, and I'm going to cut this little area out and see what it's like underneath. Right, so what I've decided to do is actually repair this actually on the car. And I know it's in the correct position. It's pretty secure. There's a little bit of tidying up through here, which I'll probably do that before I paint. And then what I'll do is I'll paint it off the actual car. So first things first is I'll drill with a roll lock. Yes, it's a one-off custom lip. It's actually still quite flexible, which is what I like. So if you do it a little speed bump or anything like that, it does actually give a little bit. It's a little bit too flexible, I think, but we'll see if I can stiffen it all up as we repair it. So I'll crack on and grind all this off, and then I'll get back to you and we'll have another look. So it's all pretty much ground out now. I used a combination of the drill and also my old detail sander from Woolworths. I've had this probably about 25 years. It's still going strong, touch wood. Fully jinxed it now. The only main damage I had was this hole here, but I think fibre filler should fix that. I can always glass it from the back as well if I have to. I think it's the original bumper underneath there, the original lip, so it should be okay. So what I'm going to do now is mix up some filler, and I'll try and repair these little areas here, and I'll just rebuild this section here as well. So the filler I'll be using is just standard David's Isopon P40. It's not a bad filler, it's pretty cheap. They're all pretty much the same. They're all basically just a chopped strand in a resin base, so it should be quite good. I've used it loads of times. In fact, I've built entire front bumpers out of this sort of stuff back in my youth. Also, the top will be P38, and I may even use a little bit of flexi filler, big boy plastic flexi filler as well. I've got many different hardness. So then I will this time be using high build primer to actually get rid of any low spots, etc. It's not just an aerosol primer. I'll be using a proper primer through the gun. So I'm going to mix up a little bit of this just on a bit of cardboard. I know you're not supposed to use cardboard because it pulls in the resin, etc., but for this sort of job it's going to be fine. So I'll just mix a little bit up and we'll whack it in. So the fibre filler is all in, so I've just got to let that dry. So if I'm in this shadow, the sun's starting to go down now. So I'll let that all set and dry now, and then I'll give it a good key over and shape it with probably an 80 grit to get the general shape, and then if it needs any more fibre filler, we'll whack a bit more in. If not, we'll go over the top with the standard normal filler, and then we'll see if we can actually get a little bit of shape back to some areas. So a bit more progress has been made. It's actually the next day. It got a little bit too dark for doing filler work outside, so I thought I'd leave it till the next day. And it's a lovely, bright, sunny day again today. Spring's finally arrived, and this repair here is pretty much done. I've got to reshape that area there, so if I'm off camera, slightly to just bring that out a little bit here. So I'll add a little bit more filler just through there to increase that curve. But I want to make a template now of this side, so I can match it to this side. So I think I'm just going to use some masking tape. I'm going to lay some masking tape over here, draw around this actual area, actual shape, place the masking tape onto some paper, cut round it, and then be able to flip it round. I should be able to get exactly the same, or pretty much near as damn it, on that side as well, because I think it is slightly off on this side. But we're getting there. It's not too much to do now. Got another skimmer filler here, just through this section here, then completely skim all this. But nobody wants to watch me putting filler in and sanding it down. It would be quite boring. So I will do the template and I'll catch up with you in a minute. Okay, so I made just a masking tape template, stuck it to some paper, and then flipped it over. And it's not actually all that far off. It's a little bit out here. Sorry if I'm off camera. It's a little bit out here, so I've just got to build this area up through there and take some material out of there, and it should pretty much match in nicely. Like I said, I've got to add some filler through here. If you're doing any body work and writing on panels, etc., always use a pencil, never use a Sharpie, because the actual ink in the Sharpie will actually bleed through the primer and the paint, especially if you're painting white or silver cars. Ask me why I know, or from experience. So always use a pencil, then it won't bleed through. So I'm going to mix up some more filler now, and I'm just going to fill this area, do a light skim through here, and then we should be pretty much repaired. The underneath I'm going to do when the bumper's actually off the car and it's upside down, and I can actually make this edge all under here all nice and smooth and tidy. But yeah, it's not too bad now. And then I think I'm considering repainting the entire front bumper. I might just do a little light blow in here and there, because there's a lot of damage on the front here, just to actually clean it up a little bit. But I'm going to try and get the paint from a different supplier this time and see if I can get a better colour match. So I don't know if you watched the videos where I did the mirrors. Just over there, if the sun's not too bright. The colour is probably about 2 shades off. Actually, I'll just show you the mirror repair now. I've polished that back. The car is dirty. And where I've polished it back there, you can just see, sorry if I'm in the shadow, you can just see a line through here. So just see a line through here, that's the actual paint colour. So I've polished this all back, so the actual colour is only through here now. Needs another polish over. The car's actually filthy, which I hate it being like this. But there's no point in me washing it and then covering it in filler dust, so I should do that afterwards. But yeah, that's not actually come out too bad, and the colour of the mirrors isn't a massive mile off. It doesn't look too bad from this angle. But if I'm going from panel to panel, I know the actual colour is actually slightly different anyway. If I'm going from panel to panel, I want the colour to be as close as possible. So I'm going to try and go through a different supplier, and I think I'm just going to actually, while I'm at it, fix the actual bumper and repair it and paint the entire thing. Anyway, mix up some more filler. As you can see, the basic shape is now there. Both sides match pretty much. There is a few little pinholes and bits and pieces. I've actually just got to go over with some stopper just to actually tidy all these up. Then I'm going to probably give it about 3 or 4 coats of high build primer. But when I take it off the actual car, I'm going to level all the bottom up as well. See if I can square it up with a long bed and flat it all along there to make it all nice and even, all the same size. But yeah, it's not too bad. Much better than having a big crack in it. So what I think I'm going to do now is I may just blow a little bit of epoxy primer over just as almost like a guide coat, so I can then block it with probably a 180, because it's just an 80 grit finish, with a 180 to make sure I've got all the lines and shape right. And then I'll take it actually off the car and do the final prep and replace all the sealer in here as well, just to make sure it's all secure, and then I'll prep the entire bumper, I think. So that's just one light coat of HP Body epoxy primer, just to basically highlight all my lines and things. This one's not too bad. This one is awful, so I'm going to have to reshape all that. It's not going to be too difficult. There's some little pinholes and bits and pieces, but just this way I can highlight it a little bit and show me all the bits that need attention. Right, my next step I think is going to be actually remove the actual bumper completely. It's pretty straightforward. You have to remove your plastic shielding. Mine are these little Allen bolts, but most of them use these little clips, so it's dead easy to take off. And then you've got your bolts here. I think there's a couple underneath. And you've got one at each wing join, and then it's all plastic clips underneath. But on mine it's all tie wraps, because I went through a really deep puddle a couple of years ago and basically just ripped all the plastic off underneath, so mine just bodged up and tie wrapped underneath. But really just have to undo all the clips and then the whole bumper just slides off. It's quite easy, quite an easy job. All pretty straightforward. The only problem I had was, because I'm parked on a slope, I couldn't get my jack underneath, so I had to use a little scissor jack, but we got around that. So it's not actually too bad under here. It's a little bit crusty, so while it's all off I'm going to give this a wire brush and put some direct metal paint on there. I think I've got some silver. This is just dirt, so this will all clean off, especially on here as well. These definitely need some attention, so I may soak these in WD or some rust penetrant I've got, see if that'll get this bolt off here, and then I can clean all these up and give them a wire brush and a coat of satin paint, probably satin black, something like that. Again here, just needs a bit of a wipe and a clean with some detailer, but we're not bad. AC unit is pretty much kaput now. AC doesn't work, so I'm going to have to probably get a rebuild kit. I think it's the actual clutch on the actual pulley here that doesn't work anymore, so I could do with just a new rebuild kit, I think. So I definitely want to get the AC sorted, especially if we're going to have days like this, because this is glorious today, absolutely beautiful. Can stay like this for me. Again, brake unions are a little bit rusty, you can see that on camera, so I need to pay them a little bit of attention. But not too bad. For a 20-year-old car, it's not doing too bad at all. A little bit of rust around the mount as well. It still needs attention, but it's all pretty much solid. It's a solid little car, really. Just needs a bit of a resto and some love and attention. What's that down there? A bit rusty. Might spray. That's the gearbox connector there. So I may even just give that a bit of a squirt with some WD or something like that, some sort of cleaner. Slave cylinder looks okay, pipes are all okay, yeah, not not too bad. Lots of time has now passed and I'm not too far off now. Little pinhole here and there, and then I've got to do a nice skim along the bottom of here. I've leveled it all off with a block, so it's pretty much level, and I've started actually prepping the actual bumper itself just with a 180 just to actually key it up for primer. Taking all the actual rubber trim off as well, and the badge. First time this badge has ever been off, so this will all be cleaned up. I'm tempted to fill it, but it's going to be too much hassle and whatever. So, and I quite like the badge actually, so I think I'll probably just leave that on. Right, so I think I'll probably call this video it. I think it's gone quite long enough with me just messing about with this bumper. The next video will be me probably priming it and prepping it ready for paint. Paint is on order. It's coming from a different supplier this time, so hopefully the colour match will be better. If it's a little bit off, it doesn't really matter really, because I am going to paint the entire car eventually, so I'll just make sure I get the paint from the same supplier when I paint the entire car. So if you've liked this video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Stay tuned for more content, and I'll see you in the next video.